A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Prime Media Studio. Welcome to the newspaper review for the 15th of August 2022. We want to really thank everyone for joining us always and listening, also watching our print media studio. That's Prime Media Studio. My name is Moses and first we'll be going to the Vanguard this morning. The Vanguard newspaper top story says it's economic shutdown if petrol price rises again. Its economic shutdown if petrol price rises again. Recall that a few weeks ago, the uh, the Nigeria Labour Congress had to go on strike because of the subsidy removal and also increment in petrol price. But right now, there's a speculation that has been ongoing that petrol price is going to increase, and then NUC is coming, NLC rather, and also TUC is coming out to say that if the petrol price rises, there will be economic shutdown. Let's take details. Let's go into details for that top story. Okay, so it's economic shutdown if petrol price rises again. The statement explained the petrol price would rise if there will be economic shutdown if the petrol price rises. That's from a vote from the Nigeria Labour Congress. Let us take a look at that in detail. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) yesterday threatened to shut down the economy without giving notice to the government if the petrol pump price was increased again. It also raised alarm over the alleged hijack of the duties of the Ministry of Labour and Employment by the Inspector General of Police, IGP, and the Federal Ministry of Justice. But the presidency, in a swift reaction, said President Bola Tinubu is concerned about economic hardship in the country and is working hard to ameliorate the situation. This is even as oil marketers yesterday in Abuja urged the federal government to act urgently to halt the consistent slide in the value of the naira against the dollar, saying the development had significantly impacted the pump price of petrol. NLC President Mr. Joe Ajaero issued the threat responding to the advice of the Director of Trade Union Services, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Emmanuel Igbinosun, that Labour should explore due process in its agitations before embarking on strike. Igbinosun gave the advice in his remarks at the ongoing African Trade Union Alliance meeting held in Abuja. Ajaero warned that Nigerians had suffered enough from the policies of government and would not take kindly any increase in petroleum pump price that would worsen the situation. That was what the Nigeria Labour Congress is saying. A news following that says federal government seeks to withdraw firearms case against Emefiele, files fresh charge. Federal government seeks to withdraw firearms case against Emefiele, files fresh charge. This is getting hot. On the topic of Niger, ECOWAS intervention will stop more coup. Professor Akinyemi says. He says ECOWAS intervention will stop more coup, says Professor Akinyemi. No plan to increase petroleum pump prices. NNPCL has come out to debunk the rumor that the petroleum pump price are speculated. There's no plan for it. There's no plan for increment. No one is going to increase the petroleum pump price. No one is increasing the price. They said it's just speculations here and there that the price is going to be increased. Now, Labour Congress has threatened that if the price increases, there will be economic shutdown. So everyone is trying to cover the loopholes and make sure that things work for our nation. Thank you so much, NNPCL, for coming out to clear the air on that. Other news following that. Decries rising spate of extrajudicial killings in Akwa Ibom. Commission decries rising spate of extrajudicial killings in Akwa Ibom. Also, inflation rate surpasses analyst projections, rises to 24.08%. Inflation rate surpasses analyst projections, rises to 24.08%. On the news, on the sports scene, says EPL, English Premier League, 3 referees dropped after Wolves penalty controversy at Man United. 3 referees dropped after Wolves penalty controversy at Man United. Also on Nigeku, it says CNG kicks against threats to prosecute Bazoum. CNG kicks against threats to prosecute Bazoum. And that's about that for the Vanguard. Let's now move on to the Nation newspaper this morning. The top story there says, breaking news. Federal government dissolves ASP over all eyes on the judiciary billboards. Federal government dissolves ASP over all eyes on the judiciary billboard. The federal government has dissolved the Secretariat of the Advising Standard Panel, ASP, over its approval of billboards termed as blackmailing the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal with the title All Eyes on the Judiciary. So the federal government has dissolved that board over All Eyes on the Judiciary. Also, Forex crisis, CBN likely to flood market with dollar. CBN likely to flood market with dollar very, very soon. International scene, US press ECOWAS to pile more pressure on Niger junta. US presses ECOWAS to pile more pressure on Niger junta. NLC threatens strike if petrol price rises. NLC threatens strike if petrol price rises. That's that on the Nation newspaper. You can get the full details on their website or visit their physical outlet for more details. Now, moving on to Channels. Channels says FG moves to withdraw firearms case against Emefiele, files fresh charge. FG moves to withdraw firearms case against Emefiele charge. The federal government has applied to withdraw the illegal possession of firearms case it filed against the suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos. The Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP) at the Federal Ministry of Justice, Mohammed Abubakar, in an oral application told Justice Nicholas Owebo that the application followed the result of the further investigations. However, counsel for Emefiele, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Joseph Daudu, opposed the application, insisting that the government must first purge itself of the disobedience of the court order granting Emefiele bail before its application could be taken. In an interview with journalists after the day's proceedings, the DPP said a fresh 20 count has been filed at the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court against the suspended CBN governor. One of the counts, he said, accused Emefiele of conferring unlawful advantages. Now let us wait for the court justice. Let us wait for the judgment of the court to find out whether Emefiele is guilty or not guilty. Moving on, threat to prosecute Bazoum may be bargaining chips. Threat to prosecute Bazoum may be bargaining chips, says Islamic clerics. Spain beats Sweden, reach first Women's World Cup final on international sports scene. Spain beats Sweden, reach first Women's World Cup final. And also, local scene, it says, no plan for fresh petrol price hike, says NNPC as queues resurface. No plan for fresh petrol price hike, says NNPC as queues. Officers clash disturbing, says Army. Soldiers and LASMA officers clash disturbing, says Army. Afghanistan's Taliban government marks 2 years since return to power. Afghanistan's Taliban government marks 2 years since return to power. Suspected herders attack school in Plateau, kill newlywed. Suspected herders attack school in Plateau, kill newlywed. And the last but not the least, Niger generals recall envoy from Abidjan over Ivory Coast remarks. Niger generals recall envoy from Abidjan over Ivory Coast remarks. Trump indicted for racketeering over 2020 election interference. Trump indicted for racketeering over 2020 election interference. That's that on the channels. Let's move on to the Daily Sun. As seen on Vanguard and also seen on The Nation and also seen on channels, we have the top story on the Daily Sun. Says FG files 20 charges against Emefiele, 6 to withdraw firearms charge. FG files 20 charges against Emefiele, 6 to withdraw firearms charge. UN, US, ECOWAS flay Niger's junta's plan to prosecute Bazoum. UN and US and also ECOWAS flay Niger's junta's plan to prosecute Bazoum. Bandits kill many soldiers in Niger, or in Niger State rather. Bandits kill many soldiers in Niger State of Nigeria. 2 killed in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway crashes. 2 killed in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway crashes. Inflation hits 24.08% to sustain 7-month rise. Inflation hits 24.08% to sustain 7-month rise. Portable hints at dating Alaafin's widow, and that's on the entertainment scene. Portable hints at dating Alaafin's widow. That's that about the Daily Trust. Let us now move on to the Sun Nigeria. Sun Nigeria says bandits kill Major and also 11 soldiers in Niger State. Bandits kill Major and 11 others in Niger State. And also a news following that says, we invest in education to develop my state, says Malami. We invest in education to develop my Ararueme bags National Waves Lifetime Achievement Award. Ararueme bags National Waves Lifetime Achievement Award. Cross River Governorship Elections Petition Tribunal reserves judgment in PDP's suit seeking to remove O2. Governorship Election Petition Tribunal reserves judgment in PDP's lawsuit seeking to remove O2. Now on terrorism, Katsina tops list of IDPs in northwest Nigeria, says UN. Katsina tops list of IDPs in northern Nigeria, says UN. 2024 Igbere Cultural Festival to hold January 2nd and 3rd. 2024 Igbere Cultural Festival to hold January 2nd and 3rd of next year. That's that on the Sun newspaper. Let us now move on to the Punch. Trump indicted for attempts to overturn US 2020 elections. And also the top story there says NNPCL breaks silence, says no intention to hike full price. NNPC breaks silence, says no intention to hike full price. NPA slams new stamp duty on trucks. NPA slams new stamp duty on trucks. Blinken lauds Tinubu's efforts to restore order in Niger. Blinken lauds Tinubu's effort to restore order in Niger. Federal government files fresh charges against Emefiele. We've seen that before. Army chief to visit Niger State after ambush on troops. Army chief to visit Niger State after ambush on troops. Diesel price hits 950 naira per litre. Manufacturers fear shutdown and job losses. Diesel price hits 950 naira per litre. Manufacturers fear shutdowns and job losses. Naira slumps. CBN slams down on speculators, restricts diaspora remittances. CBN clamps down on speculators, restricts diaspora remittances. The last but not the least, FG disbands advertising panel over controversial All Eyes on the Judiciary billboard. FG disbands advertising panel over controversial All Eyes on the Judiciary billboards. Now that's the news. That's the news headlines and newspaper review for the 15th of August 2023. Join us in the next hour for more details. My name is Moses, and thanks for staying with us. Goodbye.